Everyone tells you give value, give value, give value. So you do that. You pour everything you know into a handful of emails, and then you just realize I'm already running out of things to say, and still I did not get the sales I thought I'd get. Why? Because you've been told only half of the truth, and in this video, I'll show exactly why giving more, including more value, will actually reduce your conversions and sales, and how by sending less value, you can start finally selling. My name is Dennis. I run the Flows community on Skool, and I sent close to 1,000 emails on Skool across different creators and niches, and that's what surprised me the most. When I was obsessed with giving value and actually including lots of value in my content, two things happened. First of all, I ran out of things to say very, very quickly. And second of all, people praised my emails, they loved them, but nobody never clicked. They just watched them, read them, and did not take any action. And later, after paying attention and analyzing it, I noticed that my emails were like a manual. You know, when you buy something, you get the manual and you say to yourself, okay, I will use it later when the time will get to it, and then you never use it. It just sits in your drawer and you just forgot about it completely and you just never use it. That's what was happening with my emails, and probably that's what's happening with yours. If you're sharing lots of value, they just look like manuals. And when I changed the way I write, the newer approach that I'll share in a second, things started to change. People actually enjoyed more the emails. I got better and more positive replies. They clicked more and eventually they just started buying. And the problem starts with the definition of value because everyone says give value, but no one actually explains what value is and in what forms it can come. So, to define value, first of all, let's define what it's not. Value is not given as much as possible information in one email. Value is anything that creates a perception of movement towards a desired outcome. Which means value is not just about the things you know. It's not just about the blueprints, the step by steps, the theory, the how to do stuff, the frameworks, or basically anything that has to do with directly solving a problem. It's less about instructions, it's more about psychology, understanding where they at, explaining things clearly, and just removing the mental blocks that blocks them from moving. But why? It doesn't really make sense. If I'm on someone's list, why would I want to solve these problems rather than actually getting to the root of the problem and solving mine? That's the reason why I joined, right? And the answer is pretty simple. Information is available. You can go to any place in the world and you can get all of the information you want. There is no secrets, no tactics, everything is known and just boring. For example, the reason you watch this video is not because you couldn't find an answer to how much value you should include in an email, because if you'd look for that, you'd get a very clear answer and you wouldn't even need to watch it. The reason is probably you need something to move you. Either you don't fully believe in what I'm saying and you're still waiting for me to overcome one of your objections and start acting, or you've already felt this kind of tension in your inbox and you want someone to validate that the idea of changing approach is not crazy. Or maybe it's already past you, you know the pain, and you're just looking for another perspective and maybe someone else that can relate to your pain and just understand it. Or you're just getting entertainment for a few minutes. In all of the cases, maybe except the last one, something has to happen for you to go and implement the solution. You have to feel a certain way before you do that. Because if I just sat in here and just read you cold facts of do this, do that, without all the stories and without the experience, you just thought, okay, it's a nice video, cool idea, great topic, I'll just save it for later, and you'd never watch it. And that's exactly why value in emails is not just information. it's psychology. And if you still don't believe me, let's go and ask Russell Brunson, who's considered one of the best marketers in the world and came up with the perfect webinar formula. In it, he focuses on stories and belief shifts instead of overloading you and giving more value and more tactics. He argues that when you overload people with tactics and data, you just create confusions and hesitations, whereas clear emotional and psychological shifts make the decision process feel obvious and safe. And that's why on his webinars and funnels, he leans on emotional epiphany. People don't buy the logic of the offer, they buy the feeling of alignment and identity. So after establishing that value shouldn't really rely on information all the time, the next logical question that comes to mind is what form of value we can provide to psychologically move the reader to the next step. So here are some examples of the value forms that you can provide to your readers that are not relying on information and just overloading them with confusion, but actually focuses and leaning more towards the psychological side. One, clarity. Naming things that finally make sense. Going from fuzzy to sharp, that's value. Two, prioritization, telling them what matters most now and what to do later. Going from overwhelmed to focus. Three, belief shifting, reframing a story that's blocking action. Going from this will backfire to this may actually be smarter. Four, story, putting them in a situation they recognize and offering a look from the outside. Going from, that's kind of me in this bad situation into, okay, I know what I should do next time I get inside that situation. Five, entertainment. Making the experience enjoyable is valuable too. Going from another boring email into that was actually fun to read. Seven, direction. Pointing towards one simple way instead of 10 equally same option. Going from so many options I can decide into decision and action. Eight, permission, making them feel okay about something they already suspected is right, going from guilt to actual change. 9. Perspective, showing them patterns they can see from the inside of their own world. Going from it's just me and my mess into okay, it is a pattern, I see where I'm at now. 10. Path to help, making it obvious on how to get deeper with you. Going from I'm stuck in this alone into I know where to solve it way faster and in the way I actually wanted to. 11. Identity shift, helping them see themselves as the person they want to be. Going from I'm just not the type of person who does this into oh yeah, that's something that I usually do now. 12. Validation, making their struggle feel normal, not unique and shameful. Going from resistance and defensiveness into relief and openness to change. 13. Big picture, showing them pieces that they already know fit together. Going from isolated tasks into seeing a system. 14. Micro action, giving them one doable thing that they can do today. Going from thinking about change into taking the first step. 15. Simplification, removing complexity instead of adding more stuff. Going from 12-step plan into just do this thing. So if you look at your last few emails and all you see is information, go and pick one of these above and just try. Try setting out value that's not only information. Try mixing up ideas, mixing up angles. You'll have more things to say and you'll retain your audience and your readers for more of your emails. That alone is more valuable than sending a 21-step checklist that most people will just never read and simply ignore. So the next time you're about to send a value bomb, just stop and ask yourself, am I trying to prove how much I know, or am I trying to move someone towards the next action? And if you're interested in watching me breaking down my old value emails into more simple, readable, and convert your emails, just click somewhere on the screen and watch that video next.